What happens when the Chancellor of the Exchequer breaks down in Parliament, and the Prime Minister just sits there, silent? What happens when the Speaker screams across the chamber, and Kemi Badenoch tears into the heart of Labour like a predator? Who smells blood? This isn't just PMQs. It's the public collapse of Keir Starmer's authority, and it was caught on camera for the world to see. Stop crying. The words didn't just echo across the Commons chamber, they detonated. A sonic boom of contempt that froze the blood and cracked the thin veneer of civility in British politics. The House Speaker, red-faced and shaking, pointed a trembling finger at Rachel Reeves as she sat, eyes glazed, visibly trembling, caught between shame and fury. This wasn't just a PMQ session. It was a televised collapse. A brutal, public unraveling of Labour's facade of unity, confidence, and competence. And it was Kemi Badenoch, unflinching, methodical, merciless, who lit the match that turned the chamber into an inferno. Keir Starmer sat motionless. The Prime Minister, or at least the man still pretending to hold the title with authority, didn't move to defend his Chancellor, didn't flinch at the outrage, didn't even glance at the woman now crumbling beside him. Because Starmer knew. He knew this wasn't some isolated outburst or a rogue insult. It was the sound of a government bleeding legitimacy, losing control, not just of the message, but of itself. Badenoch didn't come to PMQs with half measures. She arrived like a prosecuting barrister sharpening her blade, her questions laced with acid, her tone calibrated to devastate. And her target? Not just Starmer, not just Reeves, but the entire Labour machine that had campaigned on integrity and delivered nothing but bureaucratic inertia, ideological schizophrenia, and a vision so sanitized it had become invisible. She stood up and dismantled them brick by brick, not with hysteria, but with calm, cruel precision. She opened with the economy, of course. Rachel Reeves' supposed area of strength. Or at least it had been. But Badenoch wielded the numbers like a scalpel. Inflation projections missed. Tax burdens surging on working-class families. And the infamous green transition budget, now exposed as a bloated mess of misallocated funds and phantom jobs. Reeves tried to interject. Her voice cracked. Badenoch didn't pause. Maybe the Chancellor should stop crying and start reading her own spreadsheets. Gasps followed. Reeves froze. And the Speaker, fumbling for control, instead lashed out, not at Badenoch, but at Reeves herself. Stop crying, he barked. Compose yourself. What followed wasn't politics. It was gladiatorial combat. And Starmer, the supposed centurion, refused to raise his shield. You could see it then. The Tory benches, once fractured and demoralized, surged with renewed bloodlust. Not because Badenoch had found some magical new argument, but because Labour had finally shown the country what they really were when the mask slipped, rattled, uncertain, hollow. Starmer had entered office with the gravitas of a man pretending not to enjoy his own coronation. Now he looked like he was praying for the floor to swallow him whole. And yet, this wasn't just about political theater. This moment was a symptom of something deeper, a sickness in British governance, a hunger, long denied, for authenticity, brutal, flawed, unpolished truth. People are tired of the softly spoken technocrats, the spreadsheets, the think tank dialect. They're watching their energy bills climb, their streets crack, their wages stagnate. And when they look to Westminster, all they see are panel show rehearsals and carefully rehearsed outrage. Badenoch, for all her controversy, offered something different. She offered unfiltered confrontation, a willingness to say what the stitched up elite won't touch. And in that chamber, in those 10 minutes, she became more than a minister. She became a specter of reckoning. But here's the real tragedy. Reeves could have fought back. She could have stood, fire in her eyes, and hit back with data, with passion, with the righteous anger of someone who believes in her cause. But she didn't, because Reeves, like Starmer, has become a prisoner of Labour's terror of passion, of saying anything real, anything that might offend the sensitivity consultants and careerist advisors whispering in their ears. And Starmer? He sat there like a wax figure at Madame Tussauds. No rebuttal, no rage, just silence. The leader of His Majesty's government reduced to a bystander while his team collapsed in real time. He once sold himself as the adult in the room, the man who would return dignity to politics. But dignity without conviction is just expensive wallpaper. And today, the paper peeled off. This isn't about liking Badenoch. It's about reality. It's about the fact that when the left chooses caution over courage, it doesn't just lose arguments, it forfeits them. It doesn't just disappoint its base, it insults them. Labor walked into number 10 promising a revolution of reason. What they delivered was PowerPoint purgatory, identity politics without soul, and a government so obsessed with optics it forgot the people watching. The collapse we witnessed in Parliament was a forecast, not just of a wounded chancellor, but of a hollow prime minister and a party unable to stomach real opposition. The opposition, it seems, now sits across from them, smirking, waiting, sharpening knives. Today, Rachel Reeves cried in Parliament. And while many will decry the cruelty, the sexism, the brutality of it all, and yes, those conversations must be had, let's not mistake cruelty for consequence. She cried because the illusion broke. Because for the first time, the Labour government was forced to face the raw, hostile judgment of a country they thought they had pacified with sound bites. And the Speaker? He didn't scream out of cruelty. He screamed out of desperation. Because when the ruling party's top brass starts weeping under fire, the whole institution starts to tremble. Badenoch didn't just win a debate. She exposed a vacuum. One where leadership should have been. One where ideals should have stood. And in doing so, she didn't just humiliate Starmer, she revealed him. Not as a monster, not even as a villain, but as a man with no voice, no anchor, and no fight. The PMQ session ended. Reeves was let out. Starmer followed, lips pursed, jaw clenched. And behind them, the jeering, the smirks, the quiet certainty on the conservative benches that power may shift again. And soon, this is no longer a government. It's a performance. And the audience? They're no longer clapping. They're walking out. If you're tired of watching political theater while the country burns, hit that subscribe button now. Drop a comment below. Did Reeves crack under pressure, or did Badenoch cross the line? And don't forget to share this video if you think more people need to see what really happened inside Parliament. This is not over, and neither are we.